The Tale of Mariama and the Lullaby Tree. One upon a time, in the heart of Igbo Kingdom, in Africa, where the baobab trees stood tall and wise, lived a woman named Mariama. She was known far and wide for her beauty, her kindness, and her intelligence. But most of all, Mariama was known for her work. She was a doctor, one of the best in the land. Every day, people from neighboring villages would come to see her, hoping she could heal their ailments. Mariama had a loving husband named Kofi and two beautiful children, Amina and Jamal. They lived in a cozy little house with a garden full of colorful flowers. But as the days went by, Mariama became more and more focused on her work. She would leave early in the morning and return late at night, often missing family dinners and bedtime stories. One evening, as the sun was setting and the sky turned shades of pink and orange, Kofi sat on the porch waiting for Mariama to return. Amina and Jamal played with their toys nearby. Kofi looked at his children and sighed. "Your mother works very hard, doesn't she?" he said with a sad smile. Amina, who was 6 years old, nodded. "Yes, Papa. But I wish she could play with us more. I miss her." Jamal, who was 4, hugged his favorite teddy bear and said, "Mama is always busy. She doesn't sing the lullaby anymore." Kofi's heart ached. He missed the days when Mariama would sing a sweet lullaby to the children every night. It was a special song passed down from her grandmother, and it always made them feel safe and loved. One night, Mariama finally came home early. The children were already asleep, and Kofi was waiting for her in the living room. "Mariama," he said softly, "we need to talk." Mariama looked tired. She sat down and sighed. "Kofi, I know what you're going to say. But my work is important. People need me." Kofi nodded. "I understand that, Mariama. But your family needs you too. Amina and Jamal miss you. I miss you." Mariama looked away, her eyes filling with tears. She loved her family deeply, but she also loved her work. It was her passion, and she felt like she was making a difference in the world. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Mariama's absence became more frequent, and Kofi struggled to keep the family together. One day, Amina came home from school with a drawing she had made. It was a picture of their family, but Mariama wasn't in it. "Why isn't Mama in your picture?" Kofi asked gently. Amina looked down at her feet. "Because she's never home," she whispered. Kofi's heart broke. He knew something had to change. He couldn't let his family fall apart. That night, he decided to talk to Mariama again. When Mariama came home, Kofi was waiting for her. "We need to talk, Mariama," he said firmly. "This can't go on." Mariama looked at him, surprised by his tone. "What do you mean?" she asked. Kofi took a deep breath. "You can't keep choosing work over your family. The children miss you. I miss you. We need you here." Mariama felt a pang of guilt. She knew Kofi was right, but she also felt torn. "Kofi, I can't just leave my work. People rely on me." Kofi nodded. "I know, and I'm proud of you for helping others. But you have a family who needs you too. You have to find a balance." Mariama spent the night thinking about what Kofi had said. She loved her family more than anything, but she also felt a deep sense of responsibility to her work. She didn't want to disappoint anyone, but she knew she couldn't keep going on like this. The next morning, Mariama made a decision. She went to the hospital and talked to her boss. "I need to take some time off," she said. "I need to focus on my family." Her boss was understanding and agreed to give her some time off. Mariama felt a sense of relief wash over her. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to make things right with her family. When Mariama came home early that day, the children were surprised to see her. "Mama," they exclaimed, running to hug her. Mariama knelt down and hugged them tightly. "I'm sorry I've been away so much," she said, tears in her eyes. "I'm going to be here more often now." Kofi watched from the doorway, feeling a mix of emotions. He was happy to see Mariama home, but he also knew it would take time to heal the wounds. Over the next few weeks, Mariama spent more time with her family. She helped Amina with her homework, played games with Jamal, and cooked meals with Kofi. They laughed, talked, and slowly began to reconnect. One night, as they were putting the children to bed, Amina looked up at Mariama and said, "Mama, will you sing the lullaby?" Mariama smiled and nodded. She sang the sweet song, and for the first time in a long while, the family felt whole again. As the days went by, Mariama learned to balance her work and family life. She realized that while her work was important, her family was her heart. She made a promise to herself to always put them first. The village noticed the change in Mariama too. She seemed happier, more at peace. People admired her even more, not just for her skills as a doctor, but for her dedication to her family. Years passed, and the family grew closer. Amina and Jamal thrived, knowing they were loved and valued. Kofi and Mariama's marriage grew stronger, and they faced challenges together, supporting each other every step of the way. And every night, Mariama would sing the lullaby, a reminder of the love and strength of their family. A few months later, the village decided to hold a celebration to honor the people who had made significant contributions to their community. The elders gathered in the village square, decorating it with vibrant fabrics and colorful flowers. There was excitement in the air as everyone prepared for the festivities. Mariama and her family arrived at the celebration together. The children ran off to play with their friends, while Kofi and Mariama greeted their neighbors. As the sun set and the sky turned a deep shade of purple, the village chief stood up to speak. "Today, we honor one of our own," the chief began. "Dr. Mariama has not only been a healer to many but has also shown us the importance of family and community. She has made sacrifices and faced challenges, yet she stands here with us today, stronger than ever." The crowd erupted in applause. Mariama felt a swell of pride and gratitude. She realized how much she had missed these moments of connection with her community. The chief continued, "Mariama, we thank you for all that you have done for us. We are proud to have you as one of our own." Mariama stepped forward, her heart full. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady. "This village is my home, and you all are my family. I am grateful for your support and love. I promise to continue serving you all, not just as a doctor but as a friend and neighbor." The celebration continued with music, dancing, and laughter. Mariama felt a deep sense of belonging and joy. She danced with Kofi and the children, their laughter echoing through the night. For the first time in a long while, she felt truly at peace. A few weeks after the celebration, Mariama received a letter. It was from a prestigious hospital in the city, offering her a high-ranking position. The job came with many perks, a large salary, a beautiful house, and the opportunity to work with some of the best doctors in the country. Mariama's heart raced as she read the letter. It was an incredible opportunity, one that she had always dreamed of. But the job would require her to move to the city, far away from her village and her family. That evening, she sat down with Kofi to discuss the offer. "Kofi, I received a job offer today," she said, handing him the letter. Kofi read the letter and looked up at Mariama, concern in his eyes. "This is a big opportunity, Mariama. But it would mean moving away." Mariama nodded. "I know. It's everything I've ever wanted, but I'm not sure if I can leave." Kofi took her hand. "You don't have to decide right away. Take some time to think about it. Whatever you choose, we'll support you." She knew the job was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but she also knew that leaving her family and village would be a great sacrifice. She talked to her friends and family, seeking their advice and opinions. One afternoon, as she sat under the old baobab tree, Amina came and sat beside her. "Mama, are we going to move to the city?" she asked innocently. Mariama looked at her daughter, seeing the hope and fear in her eyes. She realized that the decision would affect her whole family, not just her. "I'm not sure yet, Amina. But whatever happens, we'll be together." That night, Mariama and Kofi sat down to talk. "I've made my decision," Mariama said, taking a deep breath. "I'm going to decline the job offer." Kofi looked at her with relief and love. "Are you sure? It's a big opportunity." Mariama nodded. "Yes, I'm sure. I've realized that my family and my village mean more to me than any job. I want to be here, with all of you. We'll find a way to make it work." Kofi hugged her tightly. "I'm proud of you, Mariama. You've made the right choice." After declining the job offer, Mariama focused on finding a new balance in her life. She continued to work as a doctor in the village, but she also made more time for her family. She started offering free medical clinics on weekends, providing care to those who couldn't afford it. Mariama also began mentoring young women in the village. She taught them about health and medicine, encouraging them to pursue their dreams. She wanted to inspire the next generation to follow their passions, just as she had. The village noticed the change in Mariama. She seemed happier, more content. People admired her even more for her dedication to her family and community. The children loved her, and the women looked up to her as a role model. One day, Mariama held a small gathering at her home for the young women she was mentoring. They sat in a circle, sharing stories and dreams. Mariama listened to them, offering advice and encouragement. As the sun set, one of the girls, Fatima, spoke up. "Dr. Mariama, you've inspired us all. You've shown us that we can be strong and follow our dreams, but also care for our families. Thank you." Mariama smiled, her heart full. "Thank you, Fatima. Remember, it's not about choosing one path over another. It's about finding a balance that works for you. Always follow your heart and never forget where you come from." As the months passed, Mariama's family continued to grow stronger. Amina and Jamal thrived, knowing they were loved and valued. Kofi and Mariama faced challenges together, supporting each other every step of the way. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Kofi looked at Mariama with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Mariama, this whole experience has taught us something important." Mariama tilted her head, curious. "What's that?" Kofi smiled. "It's taught us that true success isn't measured by how much you achieve in your career or how much money you make. It's about the love and happiness you find with your family and community. It's about being there for each other, through thick and thin." Mariama nodded, feeling the truth of his words. "You're right, Kofi. I've learned that no matter how much I love my work, my family will always be my first priority. I found a new sense of purpose and fulfillment in being there for all of you." Amina looked up from her plate, her eyes shining. "We are glad you're here, Mama. We love you." Jamal nodded, grinning. "Yes, we love you, Mama." Mariama felt a surge of warmth and love. She reached out and held her family's hands. "I love you all too, more than anything in the world." As time went on, Mariama and her family continued to grow and thrive. The children grew up, carrying the lessons they had learned from their parents. They knew the importance of balancing their dreams with their responsibilities to their loved ones. Mariama continued to serve her village, offering free clinics and mentoring young women. She became a beloved figure in the community, known not just for her skills as a doctor but for her kindness and wisdom. Every night, before the children went to bed, Mariama would sing the lullaby that her grandmother had taught her. It became a cherished tradition, a symbol of the love and unity in their family. One evening, as they sat under the stars, Amina turned to Mariama and asked, "Mama, will you teach me the lullaby? I want to sing it to my children someday." Mariama smiled, her heart full of pride and joy. "Of course, Amina. I'd be happy to." As Mariama sang the lullaby, her voice soft and sweet, she felt a deep sense of peace. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, her family would always be her greatest treasure. They had faced hardships and made sacrifices, but they had come out stronger and more united. And so, under the watchful eyes of the ancient baobab trees, the family lived happily ever after, bound together by love, resilience, and the sweet melody of the lullaby.